Yes, someone else. Yes, this lady. It's Ingrid.
How long do I give to my man to get rid of his sexual deception?
How long do I, woman, give to my man to get rid of his sexual deception?
And what happened to me is that 2 months ago I found out that my partner, over the last 3 years, has been buying pornographic magazines and hidden them and masturbated.
A couple of months ago, did you say? I found out that my partner for the last 3 years has been buying pornographic magazines and masturbating, although he said he didn't or he hadn't.
And that's happened before, now over a period of 6 years.
And it's happened before over a period of 6 years, is that so?
Yes. And he says he endeavours to get rid of it.
He says he endeavours to get rid of this,
He says he works hard at it.
and he certainly works hard at it, she says.
So he says.
So he says then.
Yes. And this time, when I found out this time, I felt that it was for me the end of the relationship.
When I found out this time, I felt it was the end of this relationship.
Like I could not keep going on in this way.
I couldn't keep going on in the way that we were.
Yes. And I stopped making love.
I stopped making love.
And it seems to me I have no choice than to go.
It seems to me I have no choice than to go. Right. How long do I give such a man? Well, the point is, the whole point of living is the doing, not the result. The point of your life with this man is for you to do your level best, to do everything that you can, to love him, to bring about, to endeavour to make him honest, to do everything that you can and you have done. That is what it's all about. The fact that he might have failed and continues to fail is not the point. The point is that you have endeavoured and you are endeavouring now. You are endeavouring now to do your best. But when the time comes, there's no time of how long you give a man. It's just there's something in you that either is going to stay with him or not going to stay with him. And that moment has not been reached yet because you're still with him, aren't you?
That's right, yes.
Now that is done by a greater intelligence than our surface intelligence. The whole thing is really a subplot under here. The real plot is under here, and what's happening on the surface is the surface plot, and it's not as real as this. So you will only leave him when you leave him. Until that time you have not left him and you cannot leave him, right? But you will be doing your best and you will be looking at this and looking at that, and so will he. I mean, the man will be tortured by it.
That's right, Barry. And he very intensely now says that being faced is believing him, that he really does give it up now. And he keeps saying how hard it is, but that he really is doing it now. But I have to say to him now, that is good for you, but I can't believe you.
Yes, well, that's right. He says now that he's given it up because I've told him that I'm likely to leave him. And of course, that's like being told you've suddenly got cancer and you change your lifestyle if you can, because that's a terrible information to him. And he says to her, well, I'm doing my best now. I've given it up. The magazines and the masturbation, I presume. That's what he says. But she says to him quite rightly, I can't believe you because you've done this time and time again to me. And so that's where it is, now. She can't believe him. She's endeavoured to believe him and endeavoured, but he continues and she can't believe him. So it's got to be left to something that is deeper than this, and she will only leave him when she leaves him, if she does. She might not, She might not. He might change, But he's got to demonstrate to her now. It's much harder for him now because she doesn't believe him. And that's what happens with woman and man, She starts off with the teenage business, with the awkward lovers, and they spin her a line or do whatever they do, and she believes them, and then she finds out that she couldn't believe him really. And then it goes with the next one, she couldn't believe him. By the time you get to her, she's filled with disbelief of man, and yet she's filled with the love of man. It's the great contradiction. And so I as man have to take out the disbelief in her, that she won't believe me. I have to take that out of her, not by speaking about it to her, by avowing my everlasting love. That doesn't count anymore. You can't believe that. What does count are the actions. And so the man has got to demonstrate to her through actions that he is changing and has changed and is changing. He's got to demonstrate that by actions. How he does that is up to her. She will see whether she will be vigilant. She will be as, what is the word, as vigilant or as wise as a serpent and as soft as a dove. As wise as a serpent and as soft as a dove. So she's going to be very wise now. Wise to what happens with man. Wise of what he's likely to do. She's not going to doubt him, but she's not going to believe him. You see, that's a state of vigilance. And she will do that until such times as something happens, she leaves him or she stays with him, and nobody can say when that's going to be.
But I also see myself, it's like the thought of actually leaving him, be faced with that, it's like destiny. Even so I know I'm an able woman, I can live on my own, it still feels like I can't do it.
Yes.
I realize that I'm terrified, because I also have a child.
And
No money.
yes. And the other thing is that I feel terrified to leave him because I have no money and I have a child. I know I'm an able woman.
I have nowhere to go.
And I have nowhere to go. And so there's a terror in me of leaving inside of me somewhere, despite my knowledge that I cannot go on this way. So again, we have this contradiction. And of course, we all through 6 years of being married and living together and having a child, there's a great attachment, a great acceptance of that person, that body being opposite me, being with me, and to face the fact that might go and leave me, apart from the financial considerations, even to lose that body is, as she said, this is like death to me, to leave. And that's what I say, death is where you lose somebody opposite the table, is no longer there, on the opposite side of the table, is no longer there. And they're never going to be there again. That's death. And I understand that's a sort of death for you. But at the same time, you are given everything that you have to do. The circumstances of your life are God's will. That is to make you somehow more pure so that you may realize the truth of life. That's what it's about. And so that you might contribute all that you've had to go through in this, because I know the lady in question, and she's been with the teaching for several years, and I know both of them. And all that you've had to go through in this, and I'm talking to every one of you, is purely a part of the human past. That past which repeats itself because it hasn't been made pure. It hasn't been faced. It's mechanical. Say the sexual part and all the problems of man and woman together, and her trying to get him to give it up. All that has repeated itself as the circumstances of your life. And the important thing is for you to face it. You are facing it. The man is facing it. He's a part of life that's repeating itself as man's sexuality, which you two have been given the task of making more pure, or making the effort to make it more pure, more real, more right. And we don't know what that means, really. We can't judge a man. We can't judge him. We can only say, well, it's not good enough for me and I'm leaving you, if that comes at that time. But what is important is this endeavour to bring consciousness into that which is unconscious and mechanical. That's what our lives are. That's the important thing. And that's why the other important thing is for me to do it, to do my best, and not look for too much for conclusions or results, because the fact of it is the doing that matters. That's what counts here. the doing, not the results, as important as they may seem to be to us. Good, Margaret. Well, you cannot leave until you leave, right? That's right, you cannot. And you cannot get up until you get up. You with me? You cannot do anything until you do it. You might think about it, you might say you're going to do it, and you might notice that you say you're going to do it and it takes 5 minutes before you do it, before you can do it. Because you can't do anything until you can do it. Now this, of course, is a way of getting rid of the personal doer and believer and the person who thinks that he does or she does everything and decides their life. You cannot do anything until you do it. Then only can I believe you when you do it. Otherwise you can say you're going to do something, I can't believe you. Not that I doubt you, but I can't believe you, because you can only do it when you do it. Right. Yes, this gentleman?
Barry, when you say you just have to do it, is this a matter of disciplining yourself? For instance, when sexual fantasies come up, to just discipline yourself and do it?
Yes, is this a matter of this doing it? Is this a matter of when sexual fantasies come up, what's the doing in that? When sexual fantasies come up, the doing is to stop it. Not because by suppression, but because you know that that's going to lead you to get excited and all the rest of it that I've spoken about. Because of you intelligently know, even though you can't stop and you fail, you know in your own experience it has been communicated to you that this is right. So then when the sexual fantasies come up, there is a time when you notice that you're sexually fantasizing, but the compulsion is so great from the emotions and things that you're likely to sweep it aside. It's a bit like orgasm, when you reach the point where you can't sweep it aside anymore, it just happens. And so it is with sexual fantasizing. You can think, you can want to sweep it aside, but unless you've got the will and you stop it, nip it in the bud, it will go on longer than. Pardon?
When the will is strong enough, that's not suppression.
No, not when the will is strong enough. I say that, it's not suppression when you understand or know what you're doing, because that brings consciousness or intelligence to bear on the situation. And when that's there, it's not mechanical anymore. You could even see yourself having a sexual fantasy and you can see the compulsion to continue. You could see, but the important thing is that you are seeing it. That's the first start of it, to just separate from it, to dissolve it, that you're seeing it. Because there's no good just seeing it for the rest of your life. It's got to have that will have an effect if it's true. That will have an effect of reducing the sexual fantasizing. Because you don't need to sexual fantasize. You don't need to. It's a habit ingrained in the human race by the example of our society. So, like mentioned about, her man has been reading pornographic magazines. Now, if you're going to get rid of sexual fantasizing, the first thing you'll have to do, man, obviously, is no more reading pornographic magazines, and no good more reading magazines, which is probably every magazine that's published now, which has sexual articles in it. You just can't. You can't play with this thing. It's a beast. And anything that you do, you'll feed it. And of course it gets strong and lives off it. So you've got to, but only not by suppression, but by knowing this is what? I know this to be harmful to me. I know this interferes with my love. I know it in my own experience. Once that's there sufficiently, then you're not suppressing. It's pure intelligence acting against the momentum of habit. And there's nothing like sex to be a habit and a momentum. It's the most powerful thing on earth apart from love. So, right, okay. Yes, this gentleman.
Is what you mean, for example, and for a long time, for example, I was been fighting with addictions, and I would go, and it was tremendous effort to resist, for example, taking drugs, having a drink, and now it's at the point where I know it's not right. It doesn't give me anything back, and the suppression isn't there anymore. I just don't do it anymore. It's come to that point where there's no struggle.
I've just tell the people, for a long time I've been fighting with addictions, and it required a great deal of effort. But now, whether it was to take a drug or alcohol, but after a while it started to become effortless, and now it's effortless. Is that so? Now you find it's effortless, I suggest to you, because you daren't think about the drug or the alcohol or the addiction. Is that true?
I'm finding now that I am not thinking about it anymore.
That's right. So that's the key. You see, to overcome addiction, you must not think about it. Although you say it's been done for you, that's true. If we're going to approach it from a place where we can do something, then to overcome an addiction, you must not think about it, because that's the devil's connecting thing to the emotion of the drug, and of course then the addiction arises and the wanting and the longing. But if I don't think about it, take food, and many, particularly women, have difficulty with food, because food is a substitute for man, a substitute for love. And so they have difficulty with it, and they intend to either bulimic, where they eat, just stuff the food down because it gives them a certain feeling, and then they vomit it up and they take some more. It's just a substitute for man. But the important thing for them to do, apart from loving man, that will get rid of it if they can truly love man. That's the fundamental cause of it. But they mightn't be able to, he mightn't be there or something. The thing is never ever to think about food. That's the only way you can overcome it, otherwise it will keep going. Any thoughts? Same with alcohol. I mean, AA. Do you have an AA here? I presume you do. Alcoholics Anonymous? Their rule is day by day. Well, my rule is moment by moment, the same thing. You must not think about the alcohol. Take each day as it is. Don't think about tomorrow and the possibility of having a drink or anything. You mustn't do that, or even the next hour. You mustn't do that, or the addiction will rise. So I say that's what's happened to you. You've something, this where this subplot has taken it out from you. And it's a wonderful thing to hear, particularly about drugs. I find that the greatest thing, well, I can't really judge it, imposed upon our children and our society are these people who have peddled drugs as some help to consciousness. I just find that terrible, and then addictions come, and we have to have drug associations, and we have to have drug institutions, and then when the people, they want to get off them, so they can't be any good. They can't really be any good, but then we peddle them as an aid to consciousness. I tell you, drugs are not an aid to consciousness. I don't care what you take. Because you take it, you will get a reaction somewhere in your life. I don't know where it is, all these people who talk so gloriously about their realizations under drugs. Somewhere in your life where you will have a reaction where it's not so glorious, and you won't get away from it. You cannot.
Can I just say too, for me this is a very recent thing, and I'd just also like to say thank you very much. I'm getting tremendous support from endeavouring to live your teachings, and it's given me tremendous support.
Ah, good. So the gentleman says, I want to say thank you. Your teaching has given me tremendous support in this what I'm talking about, which is quite recent, and I'm very pleased to hear that, of course. Good. It's all God, and somehow I'm able to communicate God or truth or love, because there's no person here, there's no person there really, and there's a communication that goes on that is helpful to us.